Okay, we're ready to get started.
Like 65 milligrams, not a significant amount.
What we are doing today is high-key lighting. We did low-key lighting. Low-key lighting is lots of contrast, lots of dark shadows. Right? High-key lighting is a lack of contrast. The space, the subject should look warm. The place should look inviting. We think of it as being kind of sun-drenched in a way. Sometimes we look at old-style sitcom lighting as being high-key, where they just basically put 100 lights in the ceiling, blast them into the set, everything's lit from whatever direction you want. We're going to try to do this with a little more subtlety than that. Now, this is not the best room to try to make look inviting. It's kind of like an ugly box, right? I will say that what we did on Thursday, I ended up hating it. And by that, I mean what I did on Thursday, I ended up hating it. So I'm going to mix it up a little bit today. Even if it's not successful, I think we'll be demonstrating some ideas. One of the ideas we're going to demonstrate is something called cross-keying. So Tyler's key light is going to act as Andrew's backlight. And Andrew's key light is going to act as Tyler's backlight. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start setting these up. Now, one of the things I'm going to try to do today is a little piece of something that Roger Deakins, the famous cinematographer, does, which he calls a code. Now, what Roger Deakins does is he takes a particular kind of cloth, like this. This is unbleached muslin, so it's cotton, but it has not been bleached in any way, so it's got this kind of natural, earthy sort of color to it. He will create like an almost 180-degree sort of semicircle and blast light into it and just reflect all the light back in, so you get this incredibly soft light kind of coming from every direction. We're not going to try to build that. It's not particularly good for our setup, but we are going to use the bleached muslin as a reflector. So I want to take the C-stand that we have over here, and I want to extend the arm out. So let's bring it over here. Let's walk this out of the way for a second. Let's bring it over here and let's kind of set it up right over there. All right, let's get this arm out. So that's it. Cool. So let's let that float down so it's out of the way, and now just lock it in there. Okay. So I'm going to use this to basically hang this piece of muslin, which is in turn going to become essentially our light source. Okay. Now what we're going to have to do, this is going to be Andrew's key light. So what I want to do, you guys may probably not be in the best place today. Okay. I've got to get it, first of all, out of the shot. Okay. Now, what we want to do is take it up. I'm standing there, so I'll do it. And we want to take this light, bounce it into that cloth. So we should get the light somewhere right around here where it's out of the shot, pointed straight at that, this 120. I'm going to need the light meter. Okay. So let's tilt it up. Yep, perfect. And let's turn it on. Thank you.
It's right here.
There you go. Now let's take it up to 100%, which is that wheel right under the power button. There you go. Okay, now let's kill the overheads. So what you're going to notice is it's a soft light. Is that 100%?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, it looks dim for some reason. What you're going to notice is it's a nice soft light, and there's a certain amount of warmth to it. So we are set right now at 5600K, which is what these lights that we're using are in terms of color temperature. It's not turning it orange like an orange gel would, which would, I think looks a little fake, but it is warmer than the bare light would be. So let's see where we are in terms of exposure. .0, that is really, really low. It's so weird, we had much brighter results. Let's see, we can't bring it in any further because we'll get it into the shot. What we can possibly do is move this over here a bit, and now move this kind of straight towards Andrew until it ends up in the shot. So let's just walk that straight towards Andrew as far as we can get it. We'll deal with that shadow later. Okay, you got to go out a little bit from there. Go back the way it was, back the way it was. So keep going. All right, now it's out of the shot. I don't think that brought us much space, but let's see. 1.1. Let's see where we are. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna live with it for now. If we need to bring that level up, we'll work on that later. Okay, notice that that's working both as Andrew's key and as Tyler's backlight. Okay, now what we want to do is set up Tyler's key light. Now, what we did last time, and I've done it before and it's worked better than it did last time, was set up the light outside as if it were sunlight blasting into the room. That did create some problems, so we're going to try it a different way today. What I want to do is set up the 300 relatively high, right about here, pointed straight at Tyler. We should get barn doors on that too before we go up with it. So let's tilt it down a bit and then take it out. All right, let's fire that up. It's going to be really bright.
Oh, striking.
Oh, no, it's down. What percentage is it on?
3.
All right.
Oh.
It's on 3?
Yeah.
Well, I know what I want to do. We've got 120 left, right? Let's set that up. If we don't have a C-stand, let's just put it on a light stand or whatever we've got. Let's double the amount of light over here on Andrew before we worry about that.
Now we have 2, yeah.
Well, like on the
Now we know.
barn doors, there's like a, is it dark?
Oh my gosh, yes. Hold on.
What?
Oh,
No, we don't want it to be dark.
don't worry about it. I think we're good. So it's supposed to just direct the light, but it does cut down the light a lot. Let's see how much. We may still need that, I'm not sure, but I suspect this is going to have solved our problem. Abby. 2.0. So about a half, that thing was cutting out about a half a stop. All right, so we're at 2.0. Now we can see, right, we can see there's some warmth, which is kind of nice. We can see there's some softness. Okay, now, just for exposure's sake, let's start cranking that 300 up.
Okay.
Right there. Okay. Now, still looking pretty good. It's a little harder than the light that we had before, but we've got a nice balance between the two. And once again, that light is Andrew's backlight, and that light is Tyler's backlight. So we've got 2 lights serving 4 functions. So what I want to do is set up a fill light. So we want the contrast to be relatively low. And we need to be able to control what the contrast balance is. So let me get a C-stand right here.
You're gonna need that.
And a C-stand right over here. We're going to take the other end of this, and this is beginning to create something that's a little like a cove. We're going to do the same thing over here. Okay, so guys, what I want to do is take this straight up on both ends. I'd like to get it above the monitor. And let's walk it a little bit towards Ryan so we're kind of centered at the camera, if we can. Okay, that looks good. Let's just take it straight up. All right, now if you can move them apart a little bit so it's tightened up a bit.
Can you go back on yours? I can't really go back to
Okay. This is going to act as our fill light. And what the light source is going to be is these amarants. Are we got these working on batteries?
Yes.
Excellent. So Ryan, let's get one set up
Over here?
over there just like this. Okay. If we're able to tilt them, we're going to go high with it too, but if we're able to tilt them up a little bit, that'll help.
Tilt them up.
Yeah, just a little. Okay. So we're going to go up kind of like that. Actually, I'm going to strike this one because I can't reach it. All right, here we go. Which is bad because we're going to have to turn them up and down.
Striking.
Let's kind of see if you can
What
keep this
percent?
knob within a reasonable reach. Okay. So let's maybe walk it over even a little bit so that we're hitting a little more. You're hitting in the same spot on yours that I'm hitting in mine.
All right.
See what I'm saying? Okay. What percentage are you on?
12.
Let's go up to 100. Let's just see what we're getting out of this. Okay. So, if we look at the monitor now, what you see is the fill sides of both of their faces, right, are filled in. Let's see to what extent. Don't put your glasses up when you use your glasses. Eddie. Abby's going to be my conscience from now on. I have one Abby as a conscience and the other one making sure that I don't screw up the lights. Okay. All right. So right now, I'm getting about a 2.5 off these. So that is a bit brighter than our key lights. And if we want some definition, we want it to be just a little bit dimmer. Now remember, we're shooting for low contrast, not necessarily no contrast. So let's take these down to, let's try 75. So that's reading about a half a stop under. So if you look, we do have definition between the fill side and the key sides. It's a pretty low contrast definition. I think that's working fine for what we're trying to do. So I'm going to leave it. Okay, now, if we want to try to suggest sunlight coming in the room, there are a couple of things we're going to be able to do. One is we've got one window in the shop. It's this window. Do we have another Amaran that's got batteries?
This one.
Okay. So what we need outside is a C-stand, a shower curtain lining, and an Amaran light. And here's what we're doing, guys, when we're out there. We want the shower curtain to cover this much of the window, because I can tell it's not outside because I can see details. And then we want to blast that light at 100% into the other side of the shower curtain so that it looks like it's so bright outside it's burned in. Does that make sense? Okay. Go for it and multiply. Now, in the meantime, since we're going to be, there they are, isn't it? Since we're going to be suggesting that it's a sunny day and that that's outside, we might also want to suggest that there's some light coming in from a window somewhere. We don't want this to hit Tyler. Let me see where.
Oh, I get it.
We've got that so blasted out right now. What is this on?
I think it's on 100.
19.
Okay. This is where we're going to run out of stands. I want this on a stand, and I want the flag on the stand. What I'm going to do is I want the floor to be brighter than Tyler is, so we can read that there's a pattern of sunlight on the floor. In order to do that, I've got to make this light brighter. When I make this light brighter, it's going to make Tyler too bright. So what I'm going to do is use the silk. I'm going to use the silk just to shade Tyler. So we're still getting a key light on him. It's now a bit softer. I'm still getting a backlight on Andrew. It's going to take about a stop out. It's going to allow me to keep this light on the floor, and my hope is that if by brightening that light up, this pattern will be a little more visible. I've got to get it just in the right place. But yeah, I think if we manage to put it about here somewhere, we'll get that sense that maybe there's some sunlight streaming in through the window. So that's what I'm going for. I want to suggest the warmth of the sunlight coming in. All right, so first thing, I need a C-stand over here with the silk on it. I'm going to want to get the silk right here so that it's on Tyler but not on anything. Oh, I can hear it. And if anybody hasn't done this yet, come over here with John and you'll see how it's done. And that light outside's on 100.
Yeah.
We're also going to need a C-stand. What I'm trying to do is take the pattern of the Venetian blinds and throw it on the part of the floor right there that we can see. This being what casts the shadow. I mean, sure, we could walk this stuff. We could walk it way up.
That's
Now,
what
the
we need
thing
to
that's going to
find
be
is-
critical is where we put the Venetian blind, because the farther away the Venetian blind is, the more distinct the shadows will be, and the closer the less distinct. So let's Maximus, let's try to walk that forward a little bit.
And
See if we
maximum, you're right. I forget the compliment.
Wait, is it on YouTube?
There we go. So we're getting a little more now. Now we've got the flag in position, right?
Certified.
Okay. Let's see what we're getting.
You want help, guy? Okay.
2.8 there. 2.2 here. Half a stop, close enough. And then walk it in, and I'll tell you when to stop. Right there. In fact, you can walk it out just a little bit back exactly towards you. Keep going a little bit. Right there. Okay. All right. So now, we've got hot window outside that we hope looks like sunlight. We have, our pattern is really not very distinct right now. Let's see, let's play around with it a little bit. See, that's getting better. There we go. There it is. There it is. Okay, so that's suggesting that some sunlight is coming in. The other thing I want to do with this right now is, this is weird, right here, right? What I want to try to do, let me see if I can do this. So I could probably, yeah, I could take that almost completely off the wall. But let's use it. Let's see. Hold on, let me take this down just a little bit. Let's see if we can make that look like light that's coming from another window. Give us a little bit of a hot spot back there. So I don't mind that at all. The only thing that's boring me a little bit right now is this wall. TV was on a minute ago, and it did break things up a bit. I like these colors, it helps the feeling. Okay, yeah, and that's not giving us, that's not pretty. Okay, I am feeling it a little hotter than I want it to be, so I'm just going to take it down. Like 2/3 of a stop. Okay, so sunlight, we've got, both of them have nice keys and backlights. We've got suggestion of sun over here. The last thing I would do to this, I would take the color temperature up to around 7 to warm everything up overall. Okay. Guys, look at each other for a second. It's very romantic. There we go. Nice. So the only thing I might decide to play around with, and let's play around with it, we've got a few minutes. Let's see if we're able to cast that shadow instead of on the floor. Nope,
Yeah.
he's still good.
You're probably got his.
Yep, they're both still good. Focus on this side over here if you can. What do we not like? What's not working about it?
TV shadow. I don't like that big, like,
You don't like that?
that big prism over there.
You know, it's funny. I tried to remove that on Tuesday, and one of the students said it looked like a light coming into a window, so I put it back. But we can certainly get rid of it.
Or maybe there's something like maybe a cookie over there or something to break it up.
Yeah, we can do that.
It looks like a light.
We're probably still going to have some of it, even if we. Well, that's a little subtler, right? We've still got something that's still breaking it up. I'm not crazy about the shadow that's coming from the TV. Better or worse?
It was weird now.
It's a little better, but like that.
Had a big dark spot there.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can. It's like that.
It looks kind of nice.
So notice
Get the
that
little gradient
with,
too.
if this is too broad, it's too wide, right? What I can do is just spin, and I can make this as thin as I need to make it. So if I'm just trying to get rid of that one shadow, I can do, hold on, that. Maybe even a little more. We'd have to lock it in here, but yeah, like I can do something like that. We like that better?
Mm-hmm. It looks nice.
All right, I'm not going to worry about a C-stand for this. Okay. Those are the principles of high key. I never walk away from these going, this is so great, that's exactly how I would want to shoot it. I'm feeling better about this than I am about, you guys can go look at the video from Thursday and see if you agree. I'm feeling better about this than I was about that, because by having Tyler's key light inside the room, we can make a lot more control of it. When it was outside the room coming through that window, which was in the shot before, it kind of, it really sort of limited the brightness. Okay, but we've got low contrast. There's no areas that are really hyper dark, right? Okay, so wow, we did that in like record time. So the ideas are low contrast, sunny, warm, right? Let's look at what each light is doing. So let's turn off all the lights except for Tyler's key.
Does that include the one here in the hallway?
You can leave that one on.
Okay.
I think we can tell pretty well what that one's doing. Can we kill that one too? Thank you. Okay, so this one light, right, is providing, we've kind of taken it off of Andrew here. Just by panning it. So it's not giving him as strong a backlight as we had before. Let me see if I can split the difference. little ambient back there. I can see it on his hair a little bit, right? But mostly that's working as Tyler's key. But it's also giving us the backlight on the set. It's giving us the Venetian blind feeling. It's giving us the sense of the sun coming in. Now we could try to add some more color to that. Let me get like a quarter orange maybe. So I want it to be on the wall and maybe not on you. Is that better, worse, neither?
I'll say better.
Okay, so we'll leave that in place. So that one light's doing a lot of heavy lifting. Let's, remind me to put the flag up for the shadow again when we get finished with this because we've made a couple changes. Let's kill Tyler's key and turn on Andrew's key.
Not this going at all.
So we're definitely getting a nice backlight on Tyler from Andrew's key. And we're getting some spill back here, right? That's what's giving us this little bit of definition here, right? We're getting a little bit on the floor, but I think that light's kind of wiping that out. Okay, let's turn Andrew's key light off. And Ryan, if you want to get on that one, let's turn the fill light on.
Striking. Mine's still at 75. Do you still want to?
Yeah, yeah.
Alright. That looks nice.
There we go. All right. So that's what's brightening up our shadows. Okay. In and of itself, by itself, a little kind of flat. You guys look at each other just for a second, and then you can look back. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, God, did we do it with just those 3 lights, 4 lights? Holy smoke. On Thursday, we got into the thing that I absolutely hate. And the thing I consider to be the most unprofessional thing you can do as someone who's lighting a scene. I got into a round robin. I got a light there, now that's causing me a problem. I put something else over here to solve that problem. That's caused another problem. I put something else over here to solve that problem. It's caused another problem. I put something else over here. Really, really, really upset my ego very, very badly. It's not very bright. Is it on 100 or is it not even on yet?
What, the one out here?
Yeah.
Kai had to go get batteries.
Oh,
It'll be
okay.
on the-
All right.
on in a second.
Okay, so the only light we haven't looked at is the one doing the window. I think it's pretty obvious what the one doing the window is. So let's get everything back up one last time. Still feeling maybe a half a stop. Taking it down to 2.8 feels a little bit better. Yeah. Yeah. So the only thing that we don't have, with the 2 things we don't have up right now are the light outside and where's that flag? Right there. I just want the video to run for a second so we can see what that looks like. We got the window back, yep.
Yes, it's on.
Okay, that's my setup. We've got close to a half an hour. What would you guys do to change this? You want to make it happier and brighter? You want to make it more sinister and dark? You want to go for low key? You want to add color? What do you want to do? Huh?
Is key brighter?
His key brighter? Okay, let's start with that because that's an easy thing.
What? Goodbye.
It's at 50 right now.
It's at what? Wait a minute.
What's that doing for you? Anything?
I think it lights. I feel like they were more even.
Oh,
than
okay.
The other one.
All right, let's see. Just out of curiosity. We're at 2.2 there. We're at 2.2 there, so yeah, brightening that up, actually. Good catch. You put this back up here for just a second so I get a few seconds of video. All right. Anything else you would do to tweak this before we tear it down and start doing something completely different? I wish I had built the China ball. Yeah.
Could we like try closing the blinds a little bit?
Oh.
So it doesn't
I
just look
meant
like
to
a
do
single
that.
light.
Yeah, so let me get back here and tweak this a bit. I meant to do this and I totally forgot.
Put those there and there. I'll have to suggest that to him.
So what we want to do is get a little more definition on these. Are we seeing it now?
Yeah.
Is that good?
Could you go just a little more?
Okay. did we move the light outside the hall?
I did, it might be a little higher than it was before we went to lower it.
Did you move it in at all?
Mm-mm.
Could you move it, just back it up like a foot?
Yeah.
Just so we get a more even spread on the curtain? How's that looking?
Yeah, it looks better.
Yeah.
Maybe we could, do you have a blue in there? Like,
Yeah.
half blue or anything like that?
Yeah.
Maybe, cause it looks too much like a.
Well, is that better? You backed it up.
No, we're missing the top for some reason. Come look at it, I'll show you what.
Is that one on?
Is that just the blinds do that on the top, or is that?
That might be the blind.
I think that's the blinds.
Oh, wait. Well,
I think that, is that where the shower curtain's doubled?
It is.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
that's
can
what
fix
it
that.
is, that's what it is,
Yeah, I can
okay,
fix that.
all right.
What?
Yes,
What if we moved, this light there and then those lights over there?
okay, well, hold on, let's do this one little thing with the blue real quick. See if you can find a blue that you like in there, and take it out to, Ethan.
Where's that?
I was gonna suggest turning the fill down a little bit.
Okay.
Let's take the fill, let's take it down to 50 for a minute.
Okay. So we're definitely getting more definition there. Don't stand in front of the light, that's the other thing. And we could,
Let's take that one down to 25, Ryan, since you're soon to be on it.
Sure.
right. So that's, pretty stark contrast going on now.
It's like a mix
That's
of
nice.
Yeah. So now, the other thing is, there's no right or wrong here, right? It's all about how do you want the space and the subjects to feel, right? So it's not like, oh, that's too much contrast for high key. High key and low key are on a continuum, and high key and low key are just ways of phrasing something. It's the feeling that you're going to get off of it that's the most important thing. How does the space feel? How do the subjects feel? So CTB is color temperature blue. Those are the gels that change the light to bluer. And CTB orange, O is C color temperature orange, that change the light orange. And they usually come in like quarters, like there's a full thing that turns a tungsten light completely into a daylight bulb. In other words, you got something that's 3400, you put this blue gel on it, it turns it completely to 5600, right? Then there's a half, which only goes about half as far, and there's a quarter that only goes about a quarter as far. Okay, there's your blue. What do you think? You like it? Okay.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the sky.
Yeah, okay. All right, Hadley, what were you saying?
I was saying, what if we moved that light, over here and then those lights over there?
Okay, so it sounds to me like what you're thinking about would be, so what we've got right now is short-sighted lighting, right? So the key lights are on the far side of our subjects instead of on this side of our subjects. Putting that behind them probably wouldn't do much, but moving both of our key lights over here would be a really interesting experiment because it's going to show you the difference between short-sighted lighting and broad-sighted lighting. So let's see if we can, without going into too much trouble, see if we can get that piece of muslin about here with the light bouncing into it and get that key light about where you are. All right, so we're about the same intensity on that.
Breaking.
Let's take it up a bit.
Oh, negative.
Oh, you
My
meant-
dad.
Yeah, I'm sorry, straight up, yeah, physically up. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm really, really bad about being
Is
unclear
this what
about
heaven
that.
looks like?
Biblically accurate ancient.
See if we
I'd love
can
to see
get
it
where
if I
was
could see. Yeah.
Till we get this.
Need the sunglasses I got.
You know, I think he's putting the little, cape. So
So
if I did stare at it for a long.
we've still got this soft light, and we're going to have some light in the background that we could play around with in terms of, in terms of shadows if we decided we wanted to. Okay, yeah, let's take that one down. We did turn that way up. Let's take that down just gradually, and I'll tell you when to stop. A little bit more. Let's hold it there. Okay, so what happens when we move our key lights to the broad side of the face, right? You can see we've still got a little bit of shadow over here, right? It's a little harder to see on the monitor. What we've done, in fact, is basically, since we're lighting the broad side of the face, we do have a little less shadow definition. That doesn't mean it's wrong or right, but it's a very different look. You guys look at each other just for a second. Right, now we could do the same kind of treatment in the background that we had done before. I'm not gonna worry about doing that right now. But this is the difference between broadside and short-sided lighting. So that's a really good example. I know that's not exactly what you wanted to do, Hadley, but it's a really good example of what that looks like. The other thing that you have to be careful of with this style of lighting is when you start to give less real estate to the shadows, it will tend to start to get a little bit flatter, right? Now, here's the other thing to remember, and this is a big one. Eventually, if this is a scene, eventually the camera's going to come here, or maybe here, right? And when it does this, I got a lot of problems. I'm seeing that light. I'm blocking the light off Tyler because I'm creating a shadow on Tyler. This is completely unacceptable lighting for this angle. If I come over here to do this, I'm seeing all sorts of stuff. Whatever we've got over there to do with the wall, I'm going to be seeing that. And also, he doesn't look good. Right? So what would happen if we started to do this as a scene is when we came around here to start shooting, maybe an over-the-shoulder shot and a single on Tyler, right? We'd have to adjust all the lights, and there'd be two reasons. One would be they're lights we can see in them, right? We don't want to see them. The other would be from this angle, we want to make Tyler look the way we want Tyler to look, right? So that means this key light that's behind me has either got to go up above me or off to one side, right? It's, we've got to kind of look at time and think, well, that would be a little better if the light were closer. That'd be a little better if the light were further away. Well, we had to move that light when we don't have a backlight. So how do we get a backlight? Maybe the backlight's over here somewhere, right? Things have to move around. In the process of moving them around, you want to make it look better, not worse. If you look at conversation scenes in movies, I guarantee you will start to notice that from the two shot or the wide shot, when they cut to the close-ups, they're lit differently. You got to be careful. You can't change the direction of the key or make it extravagantly different. But it's always different. You might notice in a two shot that one half of someone's face is completely in shadow, and when you go to the single, they've suddenly got perfect Rembrandt light because it's been tweaked just a little bit. And we'd have to do that if we were moving around. What else do you guys want to do? You wanted to go low key on this, right?
Sure, yeah.
Do you want to do, does that mean we need to pull these back probably? First of all, we'll bring it lower, which will make it a little more weird and dramatic. We will point it, sorry,
Are you good?
just at Tyler. So one of our subjects is lit and the other one is not. How am I getting this? Let's do this. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of still light into the lens, but I actually don't kind of mind it. I kind of like it. And again, we can play around with how bright this actually feels. Now, if we were going to do this idea of cross-keying again, with harder, so not going for that whole feeling of it being soft and inviting and kind of pretty, but going for the feeling of it being pretty harsh, Tyler, will you look at Andy? Andrew?
Andy,
Andy?
got Trevor and Andy.
Where do I need to go? This way.
Start a podcast.
And we can still play around with whether one character is brighter or darker than the other, but by not filling the shadows in at all, we're getting a much higher sort of contrast feel. But we're still doing the cross keying. We're still getting the backlight and the key light. We're getting the, and now we're back on short side again, so we're emphasizing the shadow sides of the face. Everything in the background is just kind of going into sinister silhouettes of people against computer monitors. And then if we really wanted, let's do one last thing. Somebody give me, let me get a red and a blue gel out of that case.
We doing the death
Or
force
any
scene.
two colors. You're gonna hold this for me? Hold this right here. Green's not doing much at all.
Just turn that.
Probably like tealish.
A little bit.
Some Blade Runner stuff.
Ah, now we're cooking. Now notice also how much difference it makes that Tyler's wearing a white shirt and Andrew's wearing a dark shirt, right? Andrew's really popping out in the background. Andrew's kind of disappearing into it, but both are things you could take advantage of.
We
right?
playing this.
What if we switch these?
I don't know. Switch the colors or switch the people?
The color.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that.
I like the print coming off his back though.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay. I think at that point we call it a day. that you have to be careful of with this style of lighting is when you start to give less real estate to the shadows, it will tend to start to get a little bit flatter, right? Now, here's the other thing to remember, and this is a big one. Eventually, if this is a scene, eventually the camera's going to come here, or maybe here, right? And when it does this, I've got a lot of problems. I'm seeing that light. I'm blocking the light off Tyler because I'm creating a shadow on Tyler. This is completely unacceptable lighting for this angle. If I come over here to do this, I'm seeing all sorts of stuff. Whatever we've got over there to do with the wall, I'm going to be seeing that. And also, he doesn't look good. Right? So what would happen if we started to do this as a scene is when we came around here to start shooting, maybe an over-the-shoulder shot and a single on Tyler, right? We'd have to adjust all the lights, and there'd be two reasons. One would be they're lights we can see in them, right? We don't want to see them. The other would be from this angle, we want to make Tyler look the way we want Tyler to look. Right? So that means this key light that's behind me has either got to go up above me or off to one side. Right? It's, we've got to kind of look at time and think, well, that would be a little better if the light were closer. That'd be a little better if the light were further away. Well, we had to move that light when we don't have a backlight. So how do we get a backlight? Maybe the backlight's over here somewhere, right? Things have to move around. In the process of moving them around, you want to make it look better, not worse. If you look at conversation scenes in movies, I guarantee you will start to notice that from the two shot or the wide shot, when they cut to the close-ups, they're lit differently. You got to be careful. You can't change the direction of the key or make it extravagantly different. But it's always different. You might notice in a two shot that one half of someone's face is completely in shadow, and when you go to the single, they've suddenly got perfect Rembrandt light. Because it's been tweaked just a little bit. And we'd have to do that if we were moving around. What else do you guys want to do? You want to go low key on this, right?
Sure, yeah.
Do you want to do, does that mean we need to pull these back probably? I wish I had built the China ball, darn it. I meant to do that yesterday, and yesterday just got completely away from me. So a China ball, a China ball, I think it's inappropriate to call them China balls. Yeah, actually pull the big one out of the So there was some talk at one point about Godfather lighting. And Godfather lighting is just a giant soft source with lots of different lights behind a big piece of some kind of fabric that just sends light straight down. And in fact, that box will also have black fabric around it to keep that light from spilling on the walls. Yeah. So, I think I've got one bigger than this, but this is what we're talking about. So what I've got a larger one than this. And I've got some really bright lights, but they don't get hot, that compact fluorescence. I can put it inside this. It becomes this really, really soft source. And if I put it up here, these guys are going to have Godfather light. I mean, it's literally that simple. The more I put it towards here, the more Tyler's face will be in shadow. The more I put it this way, the more Andrew's face will be in shadow. Before the semester's over, I will build that. In one of our labs, we will put that up. The other way to simulate Rembrandt lighting.
Is that how a lot of people simulate like lamps? Like if you're doing an interrogation scene in a police department, there's usually that light above them.
Yeah, and that's usually a much harder light. That's usually like a bare bulb kind of feeling. So it's casting the same kind of shadows with the Godfather light. They're much softer. Yeah.
How would you hang that? Like,
I hang it on a C-stand. It weighs nothing. Yeah. So I just put it right. I put the wire actually of the lights right in there, and it just hangs. Very simple. So you hang it by you put the light inside, and the cable for the light hooks into a hook on the top, so the light stays in the same place. So you can hang it by the cable, by the electrical cable. Does that make sense? Yeah, you'll see it when I build it. But one of the things we could do right now, I think, let's see.
How do you say that word we were talking about, guys?
Chiaroscuro. How I hear it is how I've always heard it. Can somebody help me by killing the fill on this? Yeah. Turning them off.
The ones at first.
Yeah, those two. Those are the ones that were filling in the shadow. I need to turn one of these off. We're getting a little bit of it. We got a little bit too much spill onto the walls, a little bit too much reflection coming up. We've got an enormous amount of fill light just coming off the walls. So yeah, it didn't work. it was worth a try. You are having a totally different feeling there though, I think, right? In terms of that harsher light just coming straight down from above. We might be able. All right, by just cranking down. Okay, I know I got a pair of glasses somewhere. God knows where they went. Ah! Right, we're getting a little bit more just by cranking down the exposure a bit. So we're seeing a little bit more of that. If I could figure out a way just to block a little more light off that back wall, it would feel a little bit better. The China ball will work great. And what I do with the China ball is I surround it with black fabric so the light just comes straight through the bottom and doesn't spill out onto any of the walls. What else you want to do to this? John, you wanted to do all sorts of, what do you want to do? Do we have time? We're running out of time. We got 5 minutes, Kai?
Yeah.
Kay, why do I keep doing that?
I told him already good.
I like high contrast, like Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and you know, one way, you know, to mess with this a little bit is to kind of make a decision. First of all, we'll bring it lower, which will make it a little more weird and dramatic. We will point it.
Oh,
Sorry,
are you good?
just at Tyler. Bring it down a little bit. That's going the wrong way. So one of our subjects is lit and the other one is not. How am I getting this? Let's do this. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of still light into the lens, but I actually don't kind of mind it. I kind of like it. And again, we can play around with how bright this actually is. Right. It's interesting. The monitors will you know, are at this point. I mean, we could get on the monitors and brighten them or lower them, but they're kind of a locked in feeling right now. That blue light coming in the windows beginning to feel more like moonlight now than right. Or we can just burn the heck out of it.
Floodlight.
Now, if we were going to do this idea of cross-keying again, with harder, so not going for that whole feeling of it being soft and inviting and kind of pretty, but going for the feeling of it being pretty harsh. All right. Tyler, will you look at Andy? Andrew?
Andy.
Andy.
Got Trevor and Andy.
Where do I need to go? This way.
Podcast.
And we can still play around with whether one character is brighter or darker than the other, but by not filling the shadows in at all, we're getting a much higher sort of contrast feel. But we're still doing the cross keying. We're still getting the backlight and the key light. We're getting the, and now we're back on short side again, so we're emphasizing the shadow sides of the face. Everything in the background is just kind of going into sinister silhouettes of people against computer monitors. And then if we really wanted, let's do one last thing. Somebody give me, let me get a red and a blue gel out of that case.
We're doing the death
Or
note
any
scene.
two colors, any
The
two
death notes.
complementary colors.
Stand up on the chair. Yeah. You're gonna be squatting on top of the chair.
That'll work. Sure, we'll do that one and then one more, something else, like blue or green or.
Yeah.
You gonna hold this for me? Hold this for me. Green's not doing much at all.
And try the like tealish.
A little bit.
Some Blade Runner stuff.
Ah, now we're cooking. Now notice also how much difference it makes that Tyler's wearing a white shirt and Andrew's wearing a dark shirt, right? Andrew's really popping out in the background. Andrew's kind of disappearing into it, but both are things you could take advantage of.
We
Right?
planned this.
What if we switch these to
I don't know. Switch the colors or switch the people?
the color?
Yeah, that's nice. I like that.
I like the pink coming off his back though.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay. I think at that point we call it a day. Now, what I'm asking you guys to do is start communicating with each other and coming up with something you want to do for the next 2 labs. And I've sent you guys some photos, references. You know, one of the things I think would be really fun, there's a video in there of Hannibal Lecter just walking towards the camera, and he moves, I think he moves through 3 different kinds of lighting as he moves through the camera. Trying to emulate and play around with something like that would be a lot of fun, but find something, pick something, you know, talk to each other. Somebody take control, and let's have something to do next week, okay? All right, let's break everything down, turn everything off, pack everything up.
Guys. I can just Gatorade water.
Now here's the advantage, guys. Now that we're on this other cycle where I do Thursday before I do Tuesday, Tuesday's gonna go a lot smoother.
I'm in the Thursday class.
Oh, you might want to stay, you might want to keep coming on Tuesday.
I could just keep going on the Tuesday.
That
Yes. Okay. One of the things I'm going to do is send everybody in my class a syllabus. So what we do in movie making is there's some lecture material. We go over crew positions in great detail and the thought process between crew and we do some kind of exercises about best practices like it's called schedule. Mostly what it is that you get points or producing or directing a project to get points for being a crew member on a project. Build up a certain number of points. Yeah, so what happens is people come in and pitch projects to the class in an attempt to try to get them interested in helping you make your project. Right? So let's say you want to, where you want to direct, pitch it to the class, find somebody in the class who will produce it. Then find people in the class who will be the people, they get credit for it. So you can make an A in that class, kind of by either producing or directing or editing one project,
What else? Does this whole light stay together pretty much?
Or you could just.
I took the batteries out.
I think
But
so, yeah.
I just
Everything else except for like that'll pop up.
this one.
But I'm gonna send the silver. So I never know if we can semester or how many,
Halfway through this semester,
It says that like there's a little thing.
Oh, yeah, I just got, we got a fish last night.
We,
And we're going, we got a fish last night.
Don't worry, I had no clue either.
Bro, how does this come off?
There we go.
Wait, so you said this comes off?
I don't think so. I think that one stays on those.
I can ask you.
oh, yeah, and I just seen with the, lighting. I mean, the lighting lights.
I'll join this. You know anything about that?
Oh, okay. I just remember that we did that, and, you know, we sent to touch base with people, that's all.
moving is definitely a lot of fun. I love doing it. But oh my gosh, producing
It does
sucks.
take, it does take a lot of outside of class time. But the thing that's nice about it is, I don't dictate to you when you've got to do something.
Yeah, I've already kind of.
You just get together and work it out. So there's not like this, any people.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That she was carrying was the color of
I still have it moving, but only in the
I'm gonna add that.
I just soaked it up. I was like, I want to kill it myself.
You don't really like you said, right, and I think that's what you're doing, I was like, oh wait, no.
You started it.
My
You
board
walked back and you said,
originally, and somehow figured out how to change that. I knew the code, but I didn't get
oh,
We have anything else other than that means?
that would go. Yeah, that'll go. How do you back? This? Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
This is the, these are 120, that goes with 300. That's a separate kit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, cable wrapping is
Also, make sure you sign the line.
Guess what, I'm also getting to record this on audio.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Anybody got like that bleached bus? So I have a there.
Yeah, they're over there.
No.
What are you thinking? Oh no.
Good luck to us all.
There's some diffusion there that goes in, that should go in the other end. Oh, and this was in the.
You walked up to me. You walked up to me. You said,
I knew I was gonna have to open this.
Oh my gosh. I feel the air force.
you walked up to me.
Hey, Kai.
You got it.